I definitely wanted him put away for life. I felt sorry for him from hearing the defense side because he was a little child and he grew up with a family and siblings and friends, and he turned into a terrorist.
They wanted justice and they feel like they got it, and we feel like they got it. So they're as happy as they can be, I guess. The facts were clear that he knew right from wrong and he just decided to do it anyway. So it's sad for everybody, but the verdict is what it should have been.
She rang my bell, she's bleeding. She said that Corey Johnson is out there with a knife. He's a murderer. That's all I know.
This is Corey Johnson, a 17-year-old who took his religious beliefs too far. But before we talk about what happened, let's focus on 3 important things about this case. 1. Corey believed in extreme ideas about religion. 2. He had autism, which people only found out about in court. And 3. Corey felt really sad all the time. We'll learn more about these things and why they matter as we go through the questions. But first, what did Corey do? On March 12, 2018, Giovanni Sierra was celebrating his 13th birthday. The party took place at a restaurant in downtown Palm Beach Gardens. Giovanni's friend, 13-year-old Dane Bancroft, along with Dane's older brother Kyle Bancroft, who was 15, and Corey Johnson, 17, joined the celebration. They planned to spend the night at the Bancroft brothers' home, where they lived with their mom, Elaine Simon. Corey was familiar with the house since Kyle was his best friend. However, that particular night turned out to be different. While everyone was asleep, Corey took a disturbing turn and acted on his wildest thoughts. He grabbed a knife and began stabbing the birthday boy, Giovanni. When Elaine heard the noise, she went upstairs to check and found Corey covered in blood, holding a knife. Corey attacked her and then went into the room of his best friend Kyle's younger brother, Dane, and started stabbing him as well. Corey seemed excited and happy during these horrifying events. Elaine, though injured, managed to call the police, and by the time they arrived, Corey had locked himself in a closet. After a tense situation, the officers were able to apprehend him. Now, you'll witness the interrogation that followed.
All right, Corey, before I get going, I want to just go through your rights again, to let them out at the scene. Just bear with me while I read through them again, all right? I'm required to warn you before you make a statement of the following constitutional rights. You have the right to remain silent, not answer any questions. Tell me in your own words what you think this means.
I don't have to answer anything you say.
Right. Any statement you make must be freely and voluntarily given. Tell me what you think this means.
I have to give it on my own free will.
Yes. You have a right to the presence and representation of a lawyer of your choice before you make any statement and during any question. What does that mean?
I have the right to get a lawyer before I answer anything.
That's correct. If you cannot afford a lawyer, you're entitled to the present representation of a court-appointed lawyer before you make any statement and during any questioning. What does that mean?
I can't afford a lawyer. The state will give me.
Good. If at any time during the interview you do not wish to answer any questions, you may remain silent. Tell me what this means to you.
I don't have to answer anything you ask.
Right. Good. I can make no threats or promises to induce you to make a statement. Your statement must be of your own free will. What does that mean?
You can't try to promise me something or threaten me with something to say something that I don't want to.
That's right. Lastly, any statement can and will be used against you in a court of law. What does that mean to you?
Anything I say here will be used against me in the trial.
Sure. You understand everything I just explained to you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Miranda rights act like a two-sided tool. They're good for ensuring fairness, but they can make it difficult for detectives trying to solve a case and provide closure to affected families. Dealing with minors adds an extra layer of difficulty. Research indicates that understanding about 75% of these rights might require at least a 6th grade level, and to understand them fully, around a 9th grade level might be necessary. However, just having these rights isn't enough to safeguard minors. Even if a young person has done something serious, these rights are in place for a crucial reason. Being in a small space with serious adults can be a lot for anyone, sometimes leading to false confessions. That's why interrogators try to be friendly and approachable. In some situations, court services act like a stand-in parent for minors. But in many states, including Florida, police can question minors without an adult there.
So how old are you today?
I'm 17.
Okay. What's the last grade school you completed?
I would completed.
What are you in now? You're enrolled now. What are you in?
I was in 11th grade at Dwyer, but I dropped out and I was going to take online school.
Okay, so last grade you were registered in was 11th. When did you drop out?
I don't know if I'm officially withdrawn yet, but I haven't gone to school for a month or two.
Okay. Tell us about what brings you to Balance community.
My best friend Kyle invited me over to have a sleepover.
How old is Kyle?
He just turned 15.
What's Kyle's last name?
Bancroft. Bancroft.
So it's Monday morning now. When did you go to the house?
Last night I was at downtown at the Gardens, and his mom picked us up and drove us there.
What's his mom's name?
Elaine Simon.
Who?
Elaine Simon.
Simon?
Yes.
And she lives at that address?
Yes.
Okay. Who all lives in that house?
Kyle, his brother Dane, and Elaine.
Kyle has a brother, Dane.
Yes.
How old is Dane?
I think he's 13.
Dane Bancroft?
Yes.
Is there a dad that lives with them?
The dad lives in Gardens, right next to Dwyer.
You know his name?
Lucas Bancroft.
The way the interrogation room is set up can really affect how someone feels during questioning. Corey being placed in a corner near the wall might make him feel uncomfortable, intimidated, and powerless. Having the detective right in front of him creates a visual confrontation that can have a big psychological impact. This face-to-face setup tends to make the pressure feel even stronger.
Where did you move from?
Missouri.
Missouri. With your mom and dad?
I moved with my mom and my two siblings away from my dad because he was not a good person.
Does your dad still live in Missouri?
He died when I was 10 or 11.
I'm sorry to hear that. So you just live with mom?
I lived with my mom, her boyfriend Jay, and my two siblings.
Who are your siblings?
Emily Johnson, Evan Johnson. Emily is 15, I think, and Evan he just turned 12.
So you're the oldest?
Yes.
They all live in Jupiter?
They all live at 135 years.
At Cape Point Circle?
Mm-hmm.
Loneliness is a significant factor that can make a person more vulnerable, and in Corey's case, you'll see how it played a role in this interrogation. Corey felt isolated within his family, and his connection with Kyle became a crucial compensation for that loneliness. Before he even got his driver's license, Corey had to move halfway across the country due to his parents' messy divorce. Corey's mother, Jennifer Johnson, faced her own challenges. She was a lost child without clear goals, having suffered a serious accident and falling into depression at the age of 16. Later, at 24, she entered a marriage with Lee Michael Johnson, a 37-year-old man described as having a dual personality, similar to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The troubled traits in Corey's family relationship became evident with patterns of abuse and instability. Despite the challenges, Corey's father, Lee, connected with his kids through video games. However, any impression of a happy family was shattered when Corey's father died from an accidental heroin overdose. Simultaneously, Corey's mother's depression and misuse of prescription medication worsened. Her behavior became erratic, and Corey and his siblings started missing school. Faced with these difficulties, Corey withdrew, becoming a loner who struggled to find hope and often kept to himself during family gatherings. He became lost, not like his mother, but in a search for extreme channels for his anger, frustration, and hopelessness. Corey's life experiences, marked by parental substance abuse, domestic violence, and family instability, likely played a role in creating psychological vulnerabilities. It's important to recognize that extremist groups often target individuals undergoing emotional turmoil or experiencing a sense of isolation.
So it's March of 2018 now. You think it was like March of 2017 or before that?
I think it was March of 2017.
What's on the videos?
I don't remember what I watched.
Okay. Did they come and talk to you personally?
They came to my house, they talked to my mom and myself.
What did they say?
Just trying to, I don't remember exactly what they said, just trying to stay away from bad stuff. And
Don't watch the video?
scare me straight. I didn't even know, because the video wasn't about terrorism or anything. I think it was just a history video, but because it was by him, I think that's what got their attention.
So you say it's more like a documentary that was produced by
I
him?
don't remember exactly what it is. There's a lot of accounts that
Okay.
was just random speeches by different people, and I guess he was one of them.
Did the FBI talk to Kyle?
They talked to him a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I think 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. They came to his house and they talked to him and his mom, saying, I'm a threat and I'm dangerous, and they think I'm going to do something.
Why do they think that?
Because I guess, I don't know.
You can be honest. I mean,
I really don't know.
okay.
Corey Johnson's response to being contacted by the FBI and placed on a terrorist watch list appears to involve a psychological phenomenon known as minimization. This defense mechanism operates in the subconscious, aiming to lessen the emotional discomfort associated with fully acknowledging one's actions. Minimization acts as a protective barrier, helping individuals avoid confronting the full emotional weight of their deeds and allowing for the creation of a more manageable narrative.
Do you practice Islam? Do you follow it?
Yes,
Okay. To what extent?
fully.
Fully. Okay. How does that work? I'm not familiar. Do you go to a mosque? Do you contact somebody locally?
Well, I used to go to a mosque maybe 6-7 months ago. I stopped going just because I went during last summer, but then when school started, I because nobody would drive me, so I had to ride my bike. And
Where is it?
it's in North Palm, I think. It's
Where?
I'm trying to think what it's by. It's by a car dealership, and I think it's right on the border of another town. I think it's one of the bad towns, maybe Riviera. I'm not sure.
I think I heard about that mosque. I think they had some vandalism or something. Someone
Yeah.
damaged the windows intentionally.
Yeah, that's the one.
So you say fully. What does that mean? As opposed to like just drop it in. What's the difference?
Well, some people that claim to be Muslim, they just, to the extent that they maybe don't eat pork and they don't drink. I don't do any of that. I pray 5 times a day. I fast during Ramadan. Do all of it.
Okay. So you read the Quran. You follow the tenets. Okay. Are you the only one in your family? How did you get into that?
I got into it online. It matched up with what I already believed in.
Okay.
And then after a while, I decided it was right, so I converted.
So this isn't a case where your mom or your neighbor or an aunt or uncle said, "Hey, we go to the mosque. Why don't you come with us?"
Right. Nobody I know, well, I did meet some people at the mosque, but besides that, nobody I know is Muslim.
Okay. Is there a head cleric there, a mullah, somebody that is there constantly? Who's there giving?
The two main people are the imam, which is, I think his name's Saeed al-Maghribi, I think, I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
And he's the president there. Oh, Sharif al-Husseini, something like that. He's the president there. And Sharif was always nice to me, but I haven't spoken with him in 6-7 months or something.
How come?
Just because of school, and then I was busy.
Okay.
You may be curious how the FBI discovered Corey's connection to those videos. The FBI had installed monitoring software on his computer when they suspected him of making a threat to an English high school, leading to the evacuation of 100 students. Additionally, Corey's middle school friends reported him for online behavior that seemed like stalking. To guide him in a more positive direction, the FBI encouraged Corey to attend a mosque for education instead of relying solely on self-education. Mosques offer structured community-based education, emphasizing moral values, religious teachings, and a sense of belonging. This stands in stark contrast to the unregulated and potentially harmful content found on social media, where extremist ideologies are easily accessible. For a teenager like Corey, making one wrong decision could lead to being drawn into extremist ideologies that promise identity and purpose, ultimately delivering nothing but violence and pain.
Your intention was to go from downtown with Kyle back to his house yesterday, is that right?
That's what I did. Yes.
Was Dane with Kyle?
I haven't been home in about maybe a week or so because I've been having problems with Jay, my mom's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been sleeping in different places. Sometimes I slept at Sunset where I got arrested, and sometimes I slept. One time I slept at my grandma's house, and all the other times I slept at. I broke into this abandoned plaza. It's like a warehouse. I've been sleeping there.
Okay, so because of your difficulties with your mom's boyfriend, you've kind of been out on the streets a bit, sleeping away from home.
Yeah.
So let's get back to downtown yesterday. You're there last evening, right? What time
Right.
about?
So I walked from there because my bike got stolen. I wasn't going to go to work, and so I just walked to downtown with them, and I met up with Kyle, Dane, his brother, and there was another kid there, Zaid or something like that. And he left almost immediately when I got there. But then Dane met up with some of his friends. Dane's really popular. He has a bunch of friends.
Do you go to a movie? Do you go to a restaurant? You just walk around?
We were mostly walking around, but it was someone's birthday today. Giovanni. He's the kid that slept over at my house. And the one that slept over was along with me.
Corey's casual and seemingly indifferent tone, especially when discussing the events surrounding 13-year-old Giovanni's death on his birthday, suggests a level of emotional detachment or dissociation from the severity of the situation. However, it's crucial to consider Corey's diagnosed psychological condition, autism spectrum disorder, which was identified during the trial. Autistic individuals often tend towards lateral thinking. Therefore, Corey's correction of tenses might come from a literal interpretation rather than indicating a psychopathic trait, providing additional context to his interaction and communication style.
Where?
At the house.
How?
With a knife.
What room in the house?
It was at the top of the stairs.
Second floor?
Yes.
Okay.
And
What happened?
Oh, so yeah, the mom picked us up and dropped us off at the house from downtown.
With the intent, what, to have a sleepover?
Yes.
Okay. Had you been sleeping over there previous to last night?
Yes, I've done it multiple times.
Okay. So there's a sleepover. What happens with you and Giovanni? Is there an argument?
No. Everything was fine. We just, they were listening to music, and they were using Juul, which is a vape, and just normal stuff for their age, I guess.
What's Juul?
It's just a little USB sized thing. It's like a vape.
Yeah, was there anything in it?
It's nicotine.
Just nicotine.
Yes.
Okay, so when you say they, who are we talking about?
Everyone.
So you're talking about Kyle, Dane, and Giovanni?
Yes.
That's it. Just those three. And yourself.
I've used it before, yes.
Corey's use of the phrase, "I do my thing," may indicate a deliberate vagueness or evasion, possibly aimed at avoiding specific details. In stressful situations, individuals often fall back on familiar or rehearsed phrases as a way to cope with anxiety or uncertainty. Corey's choice of language suggests a lack of emotional connection to the events he is describing. It implies that Corey views violent behavior as a part of his identity or something within his control. This aligns with the dangerous path of extremism, where there is a belief that violence is an expected course of action. The language used implies a self-directed, intentional involvement in violent behavior, potentially distancing Corey from external influences or accountability.
Did he have an argument with you?
He was asleep.
Did he insult you in any way?
Not personally.
Did he insult Islam?
No, but he was one of the main, like the biggest sin you could do is called shirk. And it could either translate to polytheism or idolatry.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's like ascribing false gods. Like, and he was calling people gods. So,
Who?
Joke on.
No, who was he saying were gods? Like pop stars, music
I don't remember.
actors? Mm-hmm. Did he say that to you?
Just general. I think he was talking to me and Dane.
Mm-hmm. And he's sleeping at the top of the stairs?
Right.
Which is outside of whose bedroom?
Kyle and Dane's. It's
Okay.
like,
And where are you?
There's the area, and then there's a hallway, and it leads to their two bedrooms. They're right next to each other. Kyle and Dane.
Okay. So, around what time did he make those statements?
Just,
Like earlier at downtown, or while you were hanging out?
it was at the house.
It was at the house.
I don't know what time.
Did he know that he was? Did he know that he was insulting Islam? Okay. But it made you upset.
That's what everyone does. No, it's just I'm used to hearing stuff like that. Didn't make me enraged or anything. Just I acknowledged it.
How did you acknowledge it?
Just in my head, I didn't say anything.
You didn't want to try and convince him or show him your point of view?
No, because people like that generally don't. Like Dane and his friends.
Corey seems to link his violent actions to religious beliefs, presenting it as a response to what he perceives as a significant transgression. However, this appears to be a biased interpretation of religious teachings. Corey mentions facing mockery due to his religion, hinting at a potential persecution complex. Individuals with a persecution complex often see themselves as victims of discrimination or ridicule, impacting their attitudes and actions. It seems that Corey might be projecting personal struggles, like feelings of isolation or mistreatment, onto his religious beliefs. Using religion as a justification could be a means for Corey to externalize internal conflicts.
So that's why I attacked Dane.
Dane and Elaine are in the hospital, right?
I don't know. I know that there's people there with injuries. Okay, so that's why we're trying to find out everything. You said you didn't try and convince him. Did he know about your religious beliefs? Did he know how strongly you felt?
No, I hide it because of people these days. I tend to hide it. Dane knows and Kyle knows and Elaine knows, but Giovanni didn't know.
Did Dane and Kyle ascribe to any of your beliefs? Did they follow Islam at all?
Kyle is my best friend, pretty much my only, well, I don't know, was my only friend, and he doesn't follow Islam, but he respects it, and he doesn't make fun of it at all or anything like that. Dane, he doesn't say anything directly to my face, but I know how he feels. He thinks it's weird, and he thinks it's part of the prayer. You put your forehead on the ground. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" So,
He's only 13, though. I mean, you know,
he's a lot more mature than.
is it?
Just talking about what he did with girls, like weed and all that kind of stuff. Dane, Giovanni, bragging about that kind of stuff.
The interplay of friendship, religious beliefs, the fear of ridicule, and violent actions highlights the complexity of Corey's motivations. The contradiction in Corey's behavior, hiding his beliefs to avoid ridicule and then reacting violently to seeming violations of those beliefs, reflects an extreme response to what he perceives as betrayal. Corey's actions could be influenced by a process of radicalization, wherein exposure to extremist ideologies causes a shift in beliefs, leading to a willingness to use violence to enforce those beliefs.
So why do you buy the knife?
It was for self-defense, I guess. I just wanted to have a knife, and Dane had a knife, and Dane's other friend had a knife. I forget his name. I think it's Jimmy, I think.
Okay. So do you keep that with you? Do you have
I bought it today, and I was wearing those. I don't know if you saw. I was wearing black pants, and
I
they're
didn't see it.
puffed at the bottom, and they really baggy up at the top. So I had these really big pockets, and it fit in there.
Is it one of these that comes with like a plastic sheath on it?
Yeah, it had a plastic sheath. I left it in the bathroom with my wand.
You left the knife?
No, because after I went downstairs and Elaine escaped the house to call the police, I ran to the computer room, and I originally was in the bathroom, and I took out my wallet and the knife sheath. I had the knife in my hand, and I left them in the bathroom, but for some reason I decided to go to the closet just a little bit away. That's where I hid until I came out.
The detective's role is to uncover the complete narrative. However, certain aspects of the story hold more significance than others. Questions about the purchase and intent behind the knives dive into whether the crime was premeditated or impulsive. Such details can have a substantial impact on determining whether Corey, being a minor, will be tried as an adult, as premeditation often leads to more severe legal consequences.
Were you supposed to be sleeping in one room and you came out? What room were you supposed to be sleeping in?
No, I wasn't supposed to be sleeping anywhere. I mean, everyone fell asleep in different rooms. Dane was in his room, Powell was in his room, and Giovanni was on the floor in the top.
On the top of the landing of the steps?
You go up the stairs, this is the area. That's what it was.
And where were you?
I was in Dane's room on Dane's bed. Dane was sleeping. He put out an air mattress, and for some reason he was sleeping not on his own bed, on the air mattress.
Okay.
I was just on Dane's bed until I decided to go
Okay. And the knife is still in your pocket when you leave the room, the bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. Do you take the sheath off in the bedroom?
I had it on and off just because I went out there and I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't do this. And I was debating and doing it.
Okay. And how did you do it?
Well, he was sleeping, and I think I had the knife unsheathed, and I stabbed him in the stomach, and then he woke up and started screaming, and then I don't really remember exactly what happened after that.
Did you stab him again?
Yeah, I stabbed him a bunch of times.
Okay, where?
Everywhere, mostly in the neck and stomach.
And what was he doing?
He was screaming, trying to save himself.
Was he battling with his hands? Was he telling you to stop? Was he calling for help?
Yeah.
All those things. Do you know if his arms got cut at all when he was trying to fight you off?
I don't know.
Was he calling for
He was
Kyle?
just saying, just saying help, stop, or something like that.
Okay.
And then Elaine woke up.
And then what happened?
She was just saying, what's going on, you guys are scaring me. And then she eventually came up the stairs, and I lunged at her. And she fell down the stairs, and I don't know, she was on the floor, and then Dane woke up. So I guess she ran outside, and I guess she called the police from there.
Okay.
And I ran back up, and I started attacking Dane.
When you lunged at Elaine, were you able to slice or stab her?
Yeah, she got cut a couple times.
Where?
I don't know.
Okay.
Corey's justification for the crime, based on Giovanni's alleged involvement with drugs and women, indicates a moral judgment and a possible attempt to rationalize his actions. It's notable how he displays a lack of remorse throughout. This emotional numbness could stem from psychological distress, coping mechanisms, or, in some cases, specific psychiatric conditions. For instance, autism might contribute to difficulties in expressing or recognizing emotions conventionally.
Go ahead, share it. Like what?
We never said this exactly, but I can't think of any examples. Like, Kyle, the house is on fire, you gotta get up. Like, we never said that specifically, but just
Some type of emergencies or something that would startle him? Okay.
And I was like, Kyle, I just killed Giovanni, and I attacked Dane and Kyle. I'm not gonna hurt you because you're my best friend, but I want you to get up, and I want you to. This is what I told him. I want you to just be up, and I want you to accept Islam. I want you to be safe, stuff like that.
You want him to convert?
Yes.
So that he could be saved.
Yes.
And what did he say?
He didn't say anything. He didn't believe me. He was just sitting on the bed, and then I opened the door, and you could, I think you could see Giovanni's body, and his throat was sliced, blood all over the carpet, and then I think he was just kind of sitting on the bed in shock. And then
Was Giovanni making any noises at this
he
point?
was dead at that point.
He was dead at that point. And what was Dane doing?
He was lying on the airbed bleeding.
Did you see him making any sounds, calling for help?
He was talking quietly,
Who's he calling?
just like making noises. Not just like just noises.
Okay.
I don't think he was calling anyone specifically.
And what's Kyle doing? While you're talking to him, what's his response to you?
Well, he just woke up, so I think he was half awake, and then he was just kind of sitting on the bed in disbelief. And then, like, he thought I was joking, because we always joke around with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, once he saw them, like, there were no lights in the room, but I guess eventually saw my hands were all bloody, my whole arms, all my clothes were soaked in blood, and just probably on my face too. And he started, and probably saw Giovanni in his body, and he started realizing that everything's fine. Or not fine, everything's real. I wasn't lying.
Was he able to see Giovanni from his bed looking out the door?
I don't know if he saw it, but you can see it from where he was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw it or not.
No, I didn't.
No, if Kyle saw it,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
As mentioned earlier, Corey's lack of emotional engagement and absence of pride or remorse suggest emotional detachment with a disturbing sense of normality regarding violence. It seems as if he views violence as something ordinary, something that should be done. Corey's belief that conversion could provide protection may indicate a distorted understanding of religious teachings and extremist narratives that link safety to a specific belief system, aligning him with the coercive dynamics often present in radicalization. Notably, his mention of emergency-based pranks may suggest a blurred line between reality and fiction. For Corey, all of this might feel like a dream or a story rather than a real-life incident.
So then what happens? You're asking him to convert.
I didn't expect a response from him, because I always talk to him and say, hey, you need to convert. I want you to be saved. I want you to go to heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I think he was getting kind of interested, and then but he didn't really want to. So I guess he really likes bacon or something. He didn't want to go bacon.
Is that the response you were surprised by?
No. And he didn't want to pray 5 times a day. And just Kyle's was my best friend, so I didn't want to attack him like with words, like saying, hey, I can't be your friend because you're not going to do this. So
Because he was at least supportive of your beliefs throughout your friendship. Then what happens?
at the house.
Yeah.
I run downstairs into the computer room, and I at this point I was close to passing out because I was just like my vision was getting all blurry. I could barely stand, and I just sat inside the bathroom for a while, and I was sitting in the shower area.
Okay.
And I took my wallet out of my left pocket. I took the plastic sheath out of my right pocket. I just put them in the corner. And then after a while, I was thinking this isn't a good spot. So I just tossed from there. So I just walk over to. There's the computer room. It's got a bathroom on one side and it's got a closet on the other. So I just go over to the closet, and I was hiding in there until I came.
Had you left your wallet and the knife in the bathroom? You did.
The knife sheath. I had the knife on me.
Oh, you kept the knife with you?
Yes.
Okay. What about your phone throughout this? Where's your phone?
I have no idea.
But was it somewhere in the house?
It must have fallen out of my pocket or something when I attacked Giovanni. Maybe I left it on the top of the stairs.
So you were in the closet. Is Kyle still up in the bedroom?
I assume so.
Okay. And then what happens?
Well, I was there for a while, and then...
Corey's special connection with Kyle likely explains his desire to have him convert, as well as he navigated his personal journey. Regarding his feeling of passing out, it's possible that Corey's physical symptoms align with emotional overwhelm. Stressful situations can indeed trigger physical reactions, like dizziness, blurred vision, and faintness. Despite Corey's belief that he should engage in violence, his body seems to be exhibiting a physiological stress response. These physical symptoms could also be linked to a crisis of identity or morality.
Is this a clothing closet? Or like a utility closet when they store?
It's like a walk-in closet.
For Elaine?
It's Elaine's. She was a lawyer and a family lawyer, and she has what are they called? The things you pull open. Cabinet.
Like a drawer.
Drawer.
Yep.
She had drawers and she had a shelf.
Okay, so you're in there. Is there a light on?
Yes.
Is there a window?
Yes.
To the outside?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in there, the light's on, then what?
I just waited there for a while. Nothing much happened until the police showed up, and then they started telling me to come out. And I was in.
How are they telling you to come out?
Just saying, this is whoever, or not, this is the Gardens Police Department. Mm-hmm. Come out with your hands up.
Okay. And what's your response?
I don't say anything. Or I say, blah, 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 blah. And
can you repeat it? I don't understand.
It's Arabic. It means there is no God but Allah.
Okay.
And I just stood in there for a while, and I was in there for maybe an hour until they started getting serious, and they brought in like a robot, and they were shooting the door with something. Like I saw the bullet holes.
How do you know there's a robot?
I saw it.
Okay. You have the door open to the closet?
When they were trying to break up, it's just a push, like a fold door.
Mm-hmm.
But they were pushing it open with something, and it got open a bit, and it opened even more when I threw down the shelf onto the ground and kind of opened the door too. So I saw the robot, and I heard the robot. It's got the voice saying, "You need to come out." And I eventually just I throw my knife out so they know I'm unarmed, because that's all I have on me. And then I sat in there for maybe another 5-10 minutes, like thinking what to do. And eventually I just they right as I was about to come out, for some reason they threw some kind of gas, tear gas, I don't know. And it started making my face burn, my eyes burning. I couldn't breathe. But I was coming out anyway, so they didn't need to do that.
The use of gas deployment in this situation may be perceived as an effort to assert authority and control over Corey, possibly provoking feelings of resistance or defiance. Corey sees himself as a victim without connecting these actions to the crime he just committed. It appears he feels that the officers were targeting him. Corey's claim that the gas wasn't necessary suggests a belief that the law enforcement response was excessive in his eyes. Corey's perception of injustice or resentment contributes to his reactions during interactions with law enforcement, including his decision to lock himself in the closet and inquire about specific individuals. These actions might reflect difficulties in reading or responding to social cues appropriately. However, they could also indicate a stress response, commonly known as the fight or flight reaction. This response involves the activation of the sympathetic nervous system, triggering a series of physiological changes to prepare the body to either confront the threat or escape from it. In Corey's situation, elements of both the fight and flight responses may be observed.
I come out, they say put your hands up, and they get on the floor, and so you hit them with the shield, and they smash me down on the floor with the shield. Mm-hmm. And then they put the wire handcuffs on me.
Okay. And they take you out.
They take you out, and then everything else happens.
So the last you know, to your belief, and correct me if I'm wrong in any of this, Giovanni is dead, still at the top of the stairs where he lay. Is that right? Okay. Dane is in his bedroom.
Well, when I was like talking back and forth with the police when they were trying to get me to come out, I said, "Where's Kyle?" They said, "Right here," but they wouldn't tell me anymore. I don't know where he is now. But I asked, "Where's Elaine and Dane?" They said they were taken to the hospital, and I said, "Where's Giovanni?" And they said they don't know. They're with me.
Corey's question about Dane, Kyle, Elaine, and Giovanni could be interpreted in various ways. It might suggest an underlying capacity for empathy or attachment to them, or simply be an attempt to confirm the outcomes. When law enforcement deals with a minor, especially in situations involving apprehension, it's crucial to use age-appropriate communication. Considering the potential complications in Corey's case, officers should approach the situation with an awareness of any mental health challenges he may be facing.
So let's go back to this morning. Corey, I guess I understand what happened. Why now? I'm hoping you can help us understand. Like, it seems like Elaine was nice enough to let you stay there in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, but she's always had problems with me, and she's texting Kyle that, "Oh, you're lucky I let Corey stay over," and she talks about how she doesn't like me and she thinks I'm a bad person, bad influence.
Why?
I don't think she likes Islam.
Has she insulted Islam before?
No. Well, not really. I mean, she's talked about like, "Oh, you should come to church." Like, "Oh, you don't need to go to the just because you're Muslim, you could still go to church, right, and learn about Jesus and stuff like that." Just nothing like insulting, but I don't know if she's just ignorant or.
How do you feel about that?
I just said no, I wouldn't like to go. That was the end of it.
But how do you feel about it?
Just
Did it make you angry?
no, it didn't really affect me. Just saying I didn't want to go.
I mean, you told me you never met Giovanni before yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why you would attack him first if he's the person you met the most recently.
Because he was just the easiest, I guess. I was never going to hurt Kyle because he was my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And Elaine was locked downstairs in her room, and Dane was sprawled like in a corner, so it was hard to get to him.
Mm-hmm.
And Giovanni was just laying on the floor.
Had you been speaking about your beliefs at all earlier on in the night? And the conversation didn't go well, you got mad, and that's when you planned to do it when they went to sleep?
No, I didn't talk about beliefs.
When you bought the knife, did you have it in mind that you would hurt the next person that insulted you or your religion?
Well, I was thinking for self-defense, but I was thinking like if anything like this happens, at least I have it. So it was mostly for self-defense, especially since my bike got stolen and I saw some kids that might have done it. And I flashed the knife and they all ran away. But that was yesterday. But I guess I was maybe in the back of my mind thinking I could do something like this, but that wasn't the main plan.
Did you have a location in mind, maybe other than the house or other than these people?
Just anyone.
Maybe people were more strangers, or what was going through your mind?
Just anyone.
The focus on motive, target selection, and the detective's questioning strategy collectively play a crucial role in evaluating premeditation in Corey's case. Through presenting choices that suggest premeditation, the detective is seeking insights into Corey's thought processes and whether the killings were planned in advance. Corey's reasoning contributes to the idea of forethought, as the decision to kill seems influenced by personal feelings rather than an immediate threat. Selecting a target based on apparent vulnerability, or ease, indicates a level of planning and consideration in the actions.
How many times did you go there?
A lot. It was just over the summer though, so I didn't keep count or anything.
Did you go to Italy?
Well,
I'm not familiar. How much did they encourage you to go?
we were supposed to go every Friday,
Every Friday?
but that's like the holy day. Like Christians have the Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and But they also had these classes where they just taught about Islamic stuff, and they were on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I sometimes attended those.
Oh, okay. You didn't meet anybody there that you became friendly with or anything?
I was always friendly with Sharif, the president.
The president?
But
did he teach these classes?
he taught sometimes when the imam wasn't there. The imam's like the priest.
Right.
And so when he wasn't there, Sharif taught it, but besides that, he just he was always around, but he didn't always teach the class.
Individuals on the autism spectrum, like Corey, may encounter challenges in social interactions. His frequent visits to a mosque without establishing connections might be linked to difficulties in forming and maintaining relationships in traditional social settings. Online communities can offer a more controlled and predictable environment for social interaction, providing selective socialization and a sense of belonging, especially for those facing challenges in typical social settings. Corey's participation in these online communities might fulfill his need for connection and shared interests in a manner that aligns with his communication preferences. However, such spaces also have a dark side. They can act as echo chambers where like-minded individuals reinforce each other's beliefs, potentially contributing to radicalization. This phenomenon leads to confirmation bias, making people more likely to pay attention only to information that aligns with their existing beliefs.
It made you angry, and you were glad you had the knife when your bike was stolen. You flashed it at some kids. You said it was yesterday?
Yes.
Where was that?
It was at the plaza because I had my bike locked to a tree.
Mm-hmm.
I came back and it wasn't there, and the lock was on the ground. It looks like somebody smashed it and it broke, and they took the bike. And I saw some kids acting suspicious. It was 4 kids, and I started like heading their direction, and then one of them was like, "Hey, what's up? You good?" or something like that. And I pulled the knife out of my pocket just to show them. I kept it close to my side, and they all ran away. So,
Were they about your age, younger than you, older?
about my age.
About your age. Was that the abandoned plaza, or is that the plaza you work in?
Let's see.
The abandoned plaza. But your bike was gone.
Yes.
Had that made you angry throughout the day?
No, it was just. I wasn't really upset or angry. I just couldn't go to work now. But I was actually headed.
That
to
would
work.
make me angry if someone stole my bike.
I was heading to work on foot, but I wasn't even halfway there, and I was already like 30 minutes late. So I decided to call up Kyle and just see where he was. He was at downtown, so I just decided to head there instead.
You walked there?
Yes.
So I want to try and just have you explain to me again the incidents in the house when you attacked Giovanni first. He hadn't attacked you physically, right? You weren't.
No,
there was no physical self-defense
he
on your
did
part.
nothing to me personally.
Okay. And no one had attacked you personally.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't pre-plan this, like when the time is right, I'm going to use my knife and hurt them. Can you describe to me now what you were thinking? What made you take those actions then?
Well, I wanted to hurt some disbelievers for what they've done, and then everyone. I was just on my phone, and I noticed everyone was asleep. So I figured, I guess now's a good time.
Were you talking to somebody? Were you reading scripture or what?
I was just watching YouTube videos, like unrelated, and then right before I decided, when I was thinking, maybe I might do this, I was reading just random verses from the Quran.
When you say you were looking at YouTube videos unrelated, what were you looking at?
Just it was just like comedy videos. Really, there's a YouTuber called Grade A Under A. I was just watching his videos, completely unrelated to it.
And at some point you switched to reading verses from the Quran?
Well, I was watching that, and then I was watching that with Kyle, and then Kyle got tired and went to his room. And then I switched from that to some language videos, because I like languages, linguistics.
Okay.
And after I watched a couple of linguistics videos, That's when I noticed everyone was asleep. And I was thinking, maybe I should do this.
And what time was that? Do you remember from your phone?
Around 4.
Oh, you guys stayed up all night?
Yes.
At what point do you start reading scripture? Right after that? After they go to sleep?
After they go to sleep, and I go out at the top of the stairs where Giovanni is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, I don't know how hard it is to kill someone with a knife. I was just thinking, I was just trying to get some motivation, I guess, for reading the Quran.
Did it help?
What specifically?
What do you mean?
Verses, what?
Well, I wasn't reading any verses like related to it. It was just about Moses. It wasn't anything to do with what I did, or any violence or anything. It's just they calmed me.
By posing questions in different ways, the detective may be stress testing Corey's narrative. This method is designed to evaluate the soundness of the information provided and observe how consistent or resilient the details are when faced with various lines of inquiry. This approach is particularly relevant in the case of minors like Corey, who are at different stages of cognitive and emotional development. Detectives need to adapt their strategies to consider the developmental stage of the individual being questioned.
I'm not real versed in the religion, so I'm going to ask the question, and you just tell me yes or no. Was there any type of formal mental decision on your part to hurt disbelievers in general, like prior to that time, or was that just impulsive, like at the moment?
It wasn't impulsive. I knew I wanted to eventually hurt some. In Arabic, called kufar. The singular is kafir. Disbeliever.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean? What's the translation?
Disbeliever.
Disbeliever. Kafir?
Kafir is the singular, kufar is the plural.
Okay.
And how it translates to disbeliever?
And how long ago did you know that you wanted to hurt some disbelievers?
A long time. Just,
a year?
Yeah, I mean, a couple months after I converted, I guess, when I started learning about the religion properly.
Okay, and we're talking March or June of last year?
I guess well, I converted on the January 1st of the 2017, so
And how did you convert? How is that done? Is that done at the mosque? Is it done online?
You just say an Arabic phrase.
Okay.
And then you must
So continue. You converted January 1st of 2017.
Yeah, and I guess since the FBI stopped by around March, I guess it stopped around about March, so it was somewhere between January and February, or January and March, where I started learning about that. I guess that's why the FBI terrorist watch list.
Was there any point that you became more dedicated to that?
No.
For instance, did the FBI visit sway you one way or the other, lessen it or increase it?
Well, at first it scared me a little, so I just started to lay low, but after a while I was just thinking, who cares? And I started being a bit more open about it. And then they visited Kyle, which kind of scared him, but it didn't really affect me. They were saying, oh, I think he's going to do something soon. We didn't seem to scare him enough when we came over a year ago. And,
did any of that thought process involve any weapon, any gathering of weapons? Do you have guns, explosives?
Well, the FBI was concerned that I get to my mom's boyfriend's guns because he's got a refrigerator-sized safe filled with guns. But I never got him. I never even held it, I don't think. The only thing I knew I could get was a knife, which is why I bought one.
So you couldn't get your hands on any guns? You couldn't get any
Not
explosives?
even if I wanted.
Okay. So there's nothing at your house or your mom's house?
Like guns, explosives?
Yeah, anything like that. Nothing at the abandoned plaza we were talking about? So the only thing you get was a knife?
Yeah.
Okay. So would it be accurate to say that you had been thinking about this in some respects since the spring of 2017?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or before the visit from the FBI?
I guess slightly before the visit, and then they got a little scared, and then they visited me, and then it didn't change. So
Okay.
just ever since then.
Okay. You need some water?
Yeah, I'll take some.
Why don't I get you a bottle of water?
Did anybody ever talk at the mosque about doing anything like this?
Corey's initial fear in response to the FBI visit after being placed on a terrorist watch list, followed by a later lack of impact, indicates a heightened emotional response that subsided over time. As Corey processed the situation, he may have reevaluated the level of danger posed by the FBI visit, leading to reduced fear as he adjusted his perception. In fact, the vulnerability, fear, and anger of being visited by the FBI might have transformed into defiance, fueling his urge to kill. Corey may have employed coping mechanisms to reinterpret the FBI visit, minimizing its emotional impact. Cognitive reappraisal, a cognitive behavioral technique, involves reevaluating or changing one's interpretation of a situation to influence emotional responses. Corey might have shifted his perspective on the FBI visit to lessen its negative emotional impact. Additionally, positive reframing, a specific form of cognitive reappraisal, involves consciously looking for and emphasizing positive aspects or alternative interpretations of a given situation. Corey could have consciously sought positive or less threatening aspects of the FBI visit, effectively justifying its emotional weight.
So, something I didn't ask you, and we have, I'm trying to get this from the point of view of your actions. Everyone's there and their mindset. Was there any drugs used last night? Any weed, any pills, any synthetic weed?
The only thing we had were the vapes.
The vapes?
All it's got is nicotine, and I didn't use any nicotine.
Okay. How about your health? How's your health?
My health, physical health, and
Yeah.
mental health.
Oh,
Physical health, I guess I'm alright. Mental health, I take a Zoloft. Well, I haven't taken it in a while. I took Zoloft, like an antidepressant, and I see a psychiatrist and a psychologist. A couple of days ago, because I didn't have it on me, I didn't bring it in my backpack. It's at my house, so I couldn't take it.
and how much were you taking it then?
It was just one pill, but it was 100 milligrams a day.
Okay. So you've been off it now for how long? About 2 weeks, you said you've been out on the streets?
No, less than. I haven't taken it in maybe like less than a week, couple days, 5 days,
Okay.
4 days.
How do you feel then opposed to now?
I don't feel any difference when I take it or I don't take it.
Okay.
I don't think it's working.
Did it make you sleepy at all?
Doesn't do nothing.
Didn't do anything.
It's supposed to make you sleepy, but it's either supposed to make you sleepy or it's unrestfulness. It just depends on the person, I guess, but I haven't felt any effects, side effects, or intended effects.
Okay.
That's
Is
why I
that-
up my dose. That's why I doubled.
Is that psychiatrist the first psychiatrist you've been to?
Yes.
Have you ever been Baker acted where you're taken to a psychiatric hospital?
No. My mom, I think my mom's threatened to bring me to one before,
Okay.
just because of like talk.
And how long have you had suicidal thoughts or talk?
I mean, how long? Maybe a month or 2, 3, around there.
Okay.
Just maybe even like, or just like it started in like around 2018. It got serious. Like I've always been unhappy with. It's got more serious in 2018.
Okay.
Depression has the potential to impact various aspects of a person's life, influencing emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Exploring Corey's experience with depression may provide insights into potential factors contributing to his actions or interactions, especially if the detective delves into how depression has affected his daily life. Individuals struggling with depression often contend with feelings of uselessness or an identity crisis, potentially leading Corey towards the rabbit hole of religious extremism. Extremist beliefs can offer a pseudo sense of control over one's life, and a false sense of belonging. Moreover, extremist ideologies thrive on simplistic views, which may resonate with individuals experiencing symptoms associated with depression.
So did they tell you what the medication was supposed to treat?
It's supposed to make you just more motivated, less depressed feeling.
Less depressed. Okay. You feel you were depressed then?
Yes.
Okay. And you feel that took part or had anything to do with what happened last night or early this morning?
Well, I guess because I don't really care about my life. I figured if I die from the police, then it doesn't really matter.
Why?
Because I don't really feel like I wanted to be alive. Because I don't enjoy life.
And that's been mostly since 2018, or was it earlier than that?
I've always felt like that, but it's gotten worse in 2018.
You said your physical health is fine, so you've seen doctors where you have no complaints?
Yes.
Okay. Do you suffer from any seizures or any traumatic brain injuries or anything? Okay. And prior to this medication, which was administered in 18 or prescribed in 18, you weren't on any medications?
Right.
Other than maybe for an illness or something?
Right.
Okay. You don't have seizures? You don't have hallucinations of any kind? Okay. Can you describe generally how you were feeling before everyone went to bed that night? Was there anything unusual that day?
No, nothing unusual. I was feeling just my normal
A
self.
little tight?
Yes.
Go ahead, you can finish your answer.
What was I
You
saying?
said, I asked you how you were feeling before everyone went to bed. Generally, that day.
I was feeling alright. I was just normal. I wasn't feeling any different than I normally do. Just normal self. It was the opportunity is why I decided to do that today. Not because I was feeling any different than I normally do.
Lift them up, sorry. Like this.
So the fact that everybody was asleep
Yeah, just made it easier.
Better?
Thank you.
and wouldn't put up much of a fight?
Yeah. Rather than like going out in public and attacking some people.
Do you think this would be more successful because of that opportunity?
Well, what the plan was I was going to, because I've never done anything with a knife before. I wasn't really expecting what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting Giovanni to just stab him in the throat a couple times, or in the stomach, and he wouldn't be able to make any noise. And then I'd finish him off, and then I'd go to Dane, do Dane, and then I'd go down and tackle Lane. But it got messed up when Giovanni started screaming, and Elaine woke up, and that's how everything messed up.
It got a little bit more complicated.
Right.
He wasn't as passive or didn't shut up as fast as you expected?
Cognitive flexibility, the capacity to adapt one's thinking in response to changing situations, is an essential cognitive skill. Corey's handling of the unexpected in the emotionally intense and stressful context of a murder interrogation may indeed reflect a level of cognitive flexibility. It suggests an ability to adjust his thinking and responses in real time, which is noteworthy given the challenging and high-pressure nature of the situation.
Take a break, we'll get you some water. I'll bet you finish that pretty quick. You're obviously pretty thirsty, so I'll get another cup of water for you. You alright otherwise? Need to use the bathroom?
No.
Did you eat normally yesterday?
Well, for me, normally I usually only have one meal a day. Usually I don't eat much. Yesterday I had McDonald's. I had a 20-piece
Chicken nuggets?
nugget at McDonald's, and then I had one slice of pizza at Giovanni's birthday party at, I think it's Grinaldi's, something like that.
Grimaldi's inside downtown?
Yeah.
So that's why Dane was there? And Kyle? Because Giovanni was having a birthday party?
They were always hanging out there, but Dane just decided to go with Giovanni because he was there because of his birthday, and that's why he had a sleepover. Normally he wouldn't be able to because this is school today, but his parents allowed it because it was his birthday.
Did Giovanni have family there? Did he have like mom and dad and aunts and
his whole
uncles?
family.
His whole family was there. Did you attend that?
I did.
You did? Okay. Did you have any issues with his family members? Did you guys eat inside or outside on the patio?
Inside.
Inside. Okay. Were you invited, or they just invited you in when you showed up?
They invited up. They let me sit down. They said hi. They greeted me, and like they just because I was with Dane, I knew Dane, and Giovanni was like Dane's best friend.
Okay.
So one of them. The only thing that bothered me about them was that they're drinking alcohol, but I mean,
Okay.
I didn't expect anything more from that.
Okay. You said you eat once a day. Is that because you're not at home and that's all you can afford, or is that part of your religious practice?
Neither. It's just I don't eat much.
You want to drink some water first, or want to go to the restroom first?
I'll go to the restroom first.
All right, hang on a second, and we'll just make sure that it's clear for you to go in. All right?
Providing food and water and ensuring basic needs are met not only demonstrates goodwill, but also plays a crucial role in establishing rapport between the detective and the suspect. This approach creates a more comfortable environment, ultimately contributing to humanizing the interaction. By doing so, the dynamic shifts from an accusatory tone to a more empathetic exchange. This atmosphere may make the suspect feel more inclined to share information openly. Following this gesture, the detectives then inquire about Corey's motive to harm Giovanni once again, aiming to produce a more elaborate and truthful account of the events. During Corey Johnson's trial, his defense argued that severe depression, medications, and online activities, including watching ISIS videos, influenced his behavior, leading to psychosis and delusions. They sought a not guilty verdict by reason of insanity. Prosecutors contended that Johnson intentionally sought extremist content to harm those he considered inferior. A state psychiatrist asserted that Johnson could differentiate between right and wrong. Dr. Michael Scott, a neuropsychologist, diagnosed him as high-functioning autistic, noting above-average intelligence but delayed maturity and severe mental illness. In November 2021, Corey Johnson was found guilty of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Following a 3-hour hearing in West Palm Beach in January 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison by Circuit Judge Cheryl Caracuzzo. The connection of mental health, extremism, and a tragic crime made this case particularly challenging. Corey Johnson's journey, marked by depression, autism, complex family dynamics, and extremist ideologies, ended in an act that defies easy explanation, but certainly highlights the complex nature of human behavior. The FBI attempted to offer Corey some suggestions, but it seemed more like a rule than advice for him. Corey struggled to adhere to these recommendations, perhaps driven by a desire to display disobedience. The underlying need for effective education, engaging hobbies, outlets for emotional expression, consistent guidance, and support becomes evident in steering youth in the right direction. Remember, it's your curiosity that fuels this channel. Keep exploring, stay inspired, and join us for more amazing content next time.